Hey, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. So glad that you guys are here. Hey. All right, we've got Sage, we've got Melissa, we've got Renee. So glad that all of you are here. We're gonna give it one more minute, see if anybody else pops on. I know I'm expecting a few more ladies that said they wanted to participate tonight. So we'll just give it one more minute. I want you to be active, right? So you want to make sure you have your listening ears on. It's so fun, like I'm a teacher. But really, you want to be actively listening and engaging. So that's why I don't really believe in PowerPoints. Even when I was speaking to med students last month, I didn't give a PowerPoint because I really believe in active listening. So I believe in note-taking. If you are a writer or a typer, or if you want to record our conversation, you don't really need to because I'm recording it and it will be uploaded later. But again, have pen and paper or have your computer close by so you can type, so you can be actively engaging and listening and writing down questions that you may have while I'm talking. And then afterwards, you can always shoot that question in there. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, welcome to our workshop. We on This Fitness, on our subscribers page, we do monthly workshops here discussing different nutrition topics designed to help educate you. I believe that we as women and just as human beings, when we are educated, we make better decisions, period. But then we are able to honor the decisions that we're making. You're an educated person, so honor your decision. If you want the cookie, honor it. Why? Because you're an educated female and you know what that cookie is going to do to your body. You know you can mindfully enjoy a cookie versus having a whole sleeve of cookies in your car hiding and all of that. So education is key. All right, so welcome to this month's workshop. Today we are talking about balancing blood sugar, specifically talking about balancing blood sugar before the holiday season begins. This is a season where you're a little bit more stressed, a little bit more anxious, especially if you have lots of kids. You're buying presents, you're getting maybe hosting family. So your cortisol level is already up. It is also a time that you're more likely to move less, right? Because you're traveling, you're on the road. You're more prone to spend time in a car than you are doing your daily routine, which is probably doing a workout. If you're not doing my workouts, you're probably doing your own. And then on top of that, you are indulging. There's no shame in that game, you guys, but we want to make sure that we're going in balance so we can make mindful decisions, and it's also a season, like I said, we tend to overindulge and then beat ourselves up and think that we can erase all that damage in the new year. False. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive on in. What does blood sugar actually mean? Blood sugar means the glucose that is present in your blood, and that is after you consume carbohydrates. Okay, so glucose that's present in the blood after consuming carbohydrates. I have notes so I stay here on track. So we want to break down the science a little bit more. How the body processes sugar. So that is the balance part, okay? So, but just a blanket understanding, what is blood sugar? It is glucose, which is a sugar molecule that you eat when you eat carbohydrates, and specifically complex carbohydrates, as a Live Well Daily client and subscriber. But that when you eat that, it gets broken down and it creates glucose, which is sugar. It's a form of sugar, and that glucose gets transported to the blood. So when we say blood sugar, it means glucose that's present in the blood. So then we talk about blood sugar balance. What does that mean? So just breaking down a little science for you guys. Again, I don't expect you all to know all of this information, but it's important to be knowledgeable. So it says the endocrine system helps keep, so we have an entire system, our endocrine system helps keep our blood sugar, the glucose levels in check. using our pancreas. And this is done by a hormone called insulin. So insulin, which we all hear about, right, is created in the pancreas, and insulin is released into the bloodstream when we eat carbohydrates, and those carbohydrates are broken down as glucose, and that glucose is in the bloodstream. Okay, so what happens here? So insulin, which is released again by the pancreas, so this is after a person consumes carbohydrates and protein. And insulin picks up excess glucose, so glucose that's left over in the bloodstream, and it sends it to the liver as glycogen. Again, I don't expect all of you guys to know this, just a blanket understanding. So the pancreas also produces a hormone called glucagon, and it raises your blood sugar levels when needed. So basically when you're fasting, you know, and you still have energy, your body is still able to produce glucose even if you're not eating specific carbohydrates. So it basically is produced when the body needs more sugar. These two hormones, so insulin and glucagon, work together to keep that in balance. So that one will release when that one's low, this one will release when that one's low, and they just kind of do this. And it just keeps everything in that kind of homeostasis, in that balance. So then we want to think about what throws off our blood sugar balance. First and foremost, it's the most important in my opinion. It's the one that we must look at, and that is nutrition. Poor nutrition throws off blood sugar balance, period. Okay? If you take anything home with you tonight, I want you to take that home. It is super important, you guys, to pay attention to how you eat day in and day out, your daily choices. I'm not expecting perfection, but I'm expecting some mindful, good choices, right? So what do I mean by when I say poor nutrition? I just wrote down a bunch of different things here, but I said too many carbohydrates. Somebody said that, so congrats, good work. Processed foods, we got that one. Sugar, candy, we got that. Excess sugar. What about too much animal protein? Have we thought about that? That can throw off your blood sugar balance. Specifically animal. I'm not talking about protein in general, but specifically animal protein can throw off that blood sugar balance. And then, my last one was also insufficient protein and insufficient fats can throw off your blood sugar balance. So this is why I've created the 5 Thrive, you guys. So the 5 Thrive, clean protein, healthy fat, complex carbohydrate versus that simple carb, because it has fiber and amino acids and vitamins and minerals attached to it. So it breaks down more slowly in the body, and basically it breaks down more slowly in the bloodstream. It releases that sugar more slowly instead of spiking and like simple carbohydrates do, and then having a drastic fall. Then we have dietary fiber, and then we have vibrant greens. So this really, when you apply the 5 Thrive, it really does help balance your blood sugar. I'm not just saying that to say that. So you guys know why. When I say the 5 Thrive helps balance your blood sugar, you know. Number 2, lack of sleep. A lot of people don't know that. You guys, that's a big deal. Lack of sleep can throw off your blood sugar balance. Remember, it's that hormone fluctuation. So what happens when you don't get adequate sleep? If you're tossing and turning throughout the night, if you're constantly waking up in the middle of the night, if you're not getting deep sleep anywhere from like 8 to 10 hours, you have the likelihood, if this is over a long period of time, putting your body in a pre-diabetic state. So if you are used to hunger hormone turn off, yes, when you are used to getting a full 8 hours of sleep. So for me, like for example, when I transitioned out of college and into my early adult, like early 20s, mid 20s life, I got on a schedule because working 8 to 5, I was doing research at that time, I had to sleep. And I noticed, I was like, man, there was a drastic difference because in college we're up till 2 a.m. and then we wake up at 6 a.m. and it was just like a constant, too much caffeine, too much sugar, trying to stay stimulated to study and get all of your work done. And then once I started getting 8 hours of sleep, when I didn't get that, I would wake up that next day and I would feel ill. Like I would legitimately feel as if I were hungover and if I had a lot of alcohol the night before. It actively puts your body in a pre-diabetic state, and it's gonna make you more prone to craving carbohydrates, craving sugar, and then it has a tendency to make you insulin resistant. So that's super important to understand. So lack of sleep, that can throw off your blood sugar balance. Number 3 is lack of physical activity. Lack of physical activity can throw off your blood sugar balance. Movement. You guys, daily movement, intentional movement is good. And as females, we take it a step further. We align our movement within our cycle. If you're premenopausal and if you're postmenopausal, you have the ability to keep pushing your body exponentially harder because you don't have to worry about the hormone fluctuations. So whenever you're not working out, you're more prone to fat storage. You're more prone to crave sugar. You're more prone to be insulin resistant. So pay attention to that. Mindful movement is important. Even if you're going out for a walk, that is better than nothing. The 4th is alcohol. Consuming too much alcohol. I think that's self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go into detail about that. We know that alcohol has a lot of sugar in it and it can throw off that blood sugar balance, but it can also interfere with your sleep. So those two kind of go hand in hand together. Number 5 is poorly managed stress. Did you know that your stress and the way that you manage your stress can interfere with blood sugar balance? So we're going to talk about that a little bit because you will hear me talk about cortisol, which is our stress hormone, and its relationship to insulin and its relationship to our blood sugar balance. So cortisol that is rising due to perceived or physical trauma, perceived or physical stress that's been put on the body, usually for a period of time. COVID, this season has been a season of perceived trauma. It hasn't been physical trauma, it's perceived trauma. Why is it perceived trauma? Because you haven't been able to flex out of your daily values. For a lot of people, like especially in the beginning, you were homeschooling your kids, you couldn't go to the gym, you couldn't go to church, you couldn't go to work, you couldn't go hang out with your friends, you couldn't see your family. Those are all of your values. When you are not able to flex out and live out in your daily values and your values make you up as an individual, you are then experiencing, over a long period of time, you're experiencing trauma. And trauma has the ability to interfere with your nervous system. And specifically, it puts your body in a natural state of fight or flight, which is your sympathetic nervous system. Part of the Live Well Daily method is activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the exact opposite, rest and digest. So what happens here? So the blood sugar, when we have cortisol that's rising over a longer period of time, the blood sugar tends to hang out the blood sugar tends to hang out longer in the blood due to insulin suppression. So you know how we just talked about insulin being produced by the pancreas when we consume carbohydrates? Okay, well that gets suppressed when we are constantly living out of a fight or flight state of life, like state of mind. Okay, so that's important. So the body tells insulin basically to stop reproducing. That's not a good thing. So what happens when we have insulin hanging out in the blood? It can lead to elevated fasting blood sugar levels. It can lead to elevated blood sugar after your meals. And that can ultimately lead to type 2 diabetes. It can lead to obesity, and you will specifically see that weight gain start to happen in the lower abdomen and high thigh area. So, That is why it is super important, you guys, and that's why it's a part of the Live Well Daily method of activating your parasympathetic nervous system. And remember, we do that in a lot of different ways. But the 2 ways that I do every single day is breathing and praying, and saying, basically practicing gratitude, closing your eyes and thanking God for your meal. It's super simple, doesn't have to be crazy. It's just turning your phone face down, closing your eyes, and just saying thank you. Thank you for food. Thank you for a body that gets to eat food and break it down. Thank you for hands that prepared this food. If they're my hands, God bless my hands. If they're someone else's hands, bless their hands. So that's the first way we do that. And then the second thing is to get outside and walk. I tell my clients, I'm like, walking is not just for your physical health. I mean, it's more so for your mental health than it is for your physical health. I talk about it working out your brain. We're working out that muscle versus like your calf muscles, okay? So that is why it is super important, and it really does interfere with your blood sugar balance and can cause long-term problems if you are not properly managing your stress every single day. We live in a world that is going to be full of stress. We're human beings, and God does not promise us comfort. He actually promises the opposite of that. He was like, you will experience many trials. You'll be persecuted. Like, all kinds of issues are going to come our way. So you can't say you're never going to live a life without stress. Stress is not bad, right? Stress helps us get from one thing to another. It teaches us usually a lesson. But what happens if we don't manage our stress properly? And what I like to say, if I don't give my stress over to God daily, I end up carrying it. And when I'm carrying my stress, I'm in fight or flight. And when I'm in fight or flight, I'm not happy. And when I'm not happy over a long period of time, it leads to these long-term health issues, and it's important to pay attention to them. We're going through this pretty quickly. All right, so the next thing that we want to think about is why is it important to balance our blood sugar before the holidays? Well, this is super important because, like I said, you're getting ready to go into a season that is chaotic, that you're sitting down, you're less likely to move your body, and you're also going into a season where you're going to eat lots of sweet treats. And so when you go in balanced, right? So when you look at this 5-day meal plan, and you start implementing the 5 Thrive, you start moving your body every single day, you start activating your parasympathetic nervous system, you start to align within your cycle, and most importantly, breaking your fast, so your breakfast, aligning that within your cycle, and you're gonna see that on the meal plan. When you begin to do all of that, you begin to find that balance. And when your blood sugar is balanced, your hormones are balanced. Specifically your hunger hormones like insulin and ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and you're able to reach satiety. You're also able to go through each meal gracefully and not ravenous. Okay, so when you go into Thanksgiving, I want you to still go into that mindset with how do I make this meal better for my body, not complicated. I want you to enjoy some turkey if you want some turkey. I want you to enjoy your grandmother's go-to casserole if that's your favorite. But here's the difference. I might have a tablespoon of that casserole that's got a whole bunch of processed stuff in it versus a whole bowl full, right? Because I'm already balanced, I'm already feeling great, I feel confident, and I'm not going in feeling ravenous. So this also brings me to my next thing. Well, how do you go into Thanksgiving without feeling ravenous? I think a lot of us make the mistake by fasting 24 hours before Thanksgiving. I am a huge believer in fasting, and I consider myself a more advanced faster. I do 24 even to 48 hour fasts. I do water fasts. We do the luteal detox as a client, as all my clients and subscribers hopefully are all doing, but I know my clients do. And so why is it dangerous to fast 24 hours before Thanksgiving? Because you're gonna go into Thanksgiving ravenous. You're not gonna go in balanced. I would rather you go in somewhat full already on, your 5 Thrive smoothie or your salad, than going in super, super hungry. Because again, you're gonna be filling up on things that are not your typical things. And so it could lead to like belly upset, bloating, brain fog, discomfort, gas. And it can also lead to the slippery slope of mental health, which is like shaming yourself and beating yourself up for your food choices. We don't want that, okay? So what I want you to do is the day before Thanksgiving, I want you to just go about your, hopefully if you're not traveling, but even if you are traveling, wake up in the morning, have a smoothie. If you're hungry, try to do some morning movement before you leave, before you hit the road. Or if you're at home and before all of your relatives come into town, wake up, do some movement. I'll be going live the day before Thanksgiving, and we'll do it a quickie. You can go live, or you can always look at the series and you can choose your own. So try to do like a 30-minute workout. Try to do something, right? And movement first. Do movement and then enjoy a 5 Thrive smoothie. And then, pre-Thanksgiving party, whatever you're doing, go in it with mindfulness. But try to get some movement and try to get your 5 Thrive smoothie or bowl, whichever you prefer, in at least once the day before Thanksgiving and once the day of Thanksgiving. I do not recommend you fast, until 3 p.m. to eat Thanksgiving meal. Again, you're gonna be eating things that you don't typically eat on the regular. I hope you don't have green bean casserole on the regular, right? But that's not to say you can't have it on Thanksgiving. But again, we wanna be mindful about our portion. Plenty of carb, plenty of fat, and plenty of protein, but there's not gonna be a lot of fiber and there's not gonna be a lot of greens. So something that has a lot of that packed into it, which that salad does. So last but not least, how can we get balanced using the Live Well Daily method before Thanksgiving? So we want to incorporate the 5 Thrive in each meal. And when we incorporate the 5 Thrive in each meal, you're able to fast 4 to 6 hours between each meal. You're actively balancing your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar is actively balanced, your hunger hormone ghrelin gets turned off. You're able to reach satiety and you're able to fast 4 to 6 hours between each meal without ever thinking about food. It's the beauty of it. So incorporate the Live Well Daily 5 Thrive, either 2 to 3 times a day. And then we want to actively activate our rest and digest, the 2 ways that we just talked about. And again, it is in your guide. If you have not downloaded your guide on your free guide on Live Well Daily Fit, you can if you're not a client of mine and you've received other guides. We want to break our fast within our cycle. So this is super important. How you break your fast dictates the trajectory of your day. Okay, so it actively balances your blood sugar first thing in the morning, and you're able to make better choices throughout the day. It's just like when I start my morning with Jesus, I make better choices throughout the day. I'm a better human. I'm nicer. I'm more patient. All the things, right? So it's the exact same thing. We want to balance. We want to break our fast. So we want to have our breakfast aligned within our cycle. That is broken down on, well, it's not broken down, but there's recipes available on the PDF that all of y'all are getting tonight with where you should eat it within your cycle. Just fun, options for you. But specifically in the early half of your cycle, you're resting cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. Our resting cortisol is already elevated. All of our resting cortisol is elevated first thing in the morning, but when you're in the later half of your cycle, it's up even higher. So how you break your fast will dictate if you will have insulin suppression or not. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're breaking your fast and by relying on the slow breakdown of healthy fats, just like it's written in the guide. If you haven't gotten that guide yet, I recommend it. It's on the website. But you want to rely on the slow breakdown of healthy fats. Why? Because your body cannot utilize complex carbohydrates as efficiently as it typically does, as your fuel source. So your body then relies on the slow breakdown of healthy fats. So fiber is really good. Fats are really good. That's why you guys see me make warm veggies in the morning as I break my fast. My clean protein is in my nuts and my seeds, and that recipe is available for you. And in the early half of your cycle, so this is after we're done menstruating, we're in follicular and ovulation, so those two phases combined, my resting cortisol is lower as my progesterone levels are lower. So that means I'm able to push my body physically harder, and my body is then able to utilize complex carbohydrates as their fuel source. So that's the great time, that's the perfect time to maybe have overnight oats or warm oats as we move into the cooler season. A great time to have a smoothie. Things like that. So again, you will have recipes in that guide. Again, if you're confused about your cycle, you can schedule your one-on-one with me. We'll break it down. We'll align everything within your cycle. Or you can refer to the guide and try to figure it out on your own. So breaking your fast within your cycle, that's crucial. We want to intentionally move our body every single day. Live starting tomorrow, Monday through Saturday. So tune in with me. If you're busy, if you're working while I'm live, don't worry. I have workouts saved. You can pick your workout. You can pick what you want to do. It's all saved in series. So if you want to work your core, if you want to work your arms, if you want a full body, if you want core gliders, whatever you want. And then number 5, we want to be mindful about our sugar consumption. Guys, we're getting ready to go on the holiday season. This is a time where you want to eat more sugar cookies, you want to eat more of the pies and things like that. And I'm not saying no to that, but I want you to just be mindful about it. So if you're going to your holiday party, again, I want you to be nice and full before you go. I want you to have, a 5 Thrive bowl, like a big salad, fill up. And then when you go, you're less likely to binge eat and you're less likely to go crazy over all the sugar. Instead, when you get to the party and they have like chess pie, you're like, man, I love chess pie. I personally love chess pie. I would have a piece of chess pie versus a piece of chess pie, 3 cookies, 2 glasses of wine. So again, you kind of see the difference there. Like I've already had my 5 Thrive. Now I'm gonna go and have a little sweet treat at this party. If you do eat too much sugar, how do you get back on track the next day? Extra fiber, correct? And listen to your tummy growl. Yes, absolutely, Sage. So you guys, we are not perfect. So there's gonna be days, especially if you're really emotional and if it's crazy season, which it is, you may indulge and have too much sugar. So what do? The next day, you really want to focus on alkalizing the body. Okay, so when I say that, you're kind of getting your body's pH. You're kind of getting to that homeostasis, that balanced level. So you want to have lots of water, specifically water with lemon. So I have a big 24-ounce mason jar, and I just keep that thing full. I just keep filling it up. You want to try to have like black coffee with no cream, milk, sugar, nothing in it. And you kind of want to detox your body. If you're familiar with a luteal detox, do a luteal detox for a day or a day and a half or 2 days. And I think that will really help kind of bring your body back into that balance. Eating lots of cruciferous vegetables, so vegetables that are really high in fiber, really low in carb, eating healthy fats, and trying to step away from inflammatory proteins, which are found in gluten, high lectinous foods like corn, and excess animal protein. Wild caught salmon is a great option, but chicken and eggs, when your blood sugar balance is already off, I don't recommend it. So things like that would be really great to just help you get back on track a lot quicker. And again, being mindful, breathing, and practicing gratitude throughout the day. I know it's always a lot of information. All in all, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Sending you so much love. Thank you again for being here, for participating, and I just feel so encouraged that y'all all are living well daily. All right, I'll see you guys.